Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. There is a woman who is an MP. She comes from Birmingham. She is a gob on legs. Her name is Jess Phillips. She has, on several occasions, been reprimanded for breaking parliamentary rules and still thinks it's perfectly acceptable to go and break them again and again and again. Well, she's broken them again, unsurprisingly. And she's avoided punishment. And we have to ask, why is this woman not being punished for repeatedly breaking the rules of Parliament? Has she got something on them? Who knows? I mean, she is an awful woman. They call her the gob. And she has, oh God, has she got a gob? And every time she opens it, my ears bleed. She's a Labour MP. She's pretty thick, but to be fair, if it was a toss-up between Jess Phillips and Angela Rayner, you've got to go with Jess Phillips because at least she can read. And, you know, it's there. But God almighty, the pair of them, they're just awful people. But there she is, and she sits there and she does all this, and she's hypocritical. She goes on about, oh, we must increase taxes and we must do this and we've got to help the poor and all that, while she keeps salting away all this money and doesn't declare it to the parliamentary authorities. She's an absolute gobshite and hypocrite. So we'll take a look at this piece and see what she's done now and see if anything ever will happen to her. And God, it really does need to. Anyway, here goes. So Jess Phillips avoids punishment after breaking rules over declaring the payment on time again. The Labour frontbencher has come under fire twice for breaking rules over earnings declared outside of Parliament. And there she is. And she's just got that supercilious, smug look. I'm better than you. No, love, you really aren't. Jess Phillips has avoided sanction by the parliamentary watchdog after failing to register a financial interest by the deadline for the second time in less than 6 months. The shadow safeguarding minister, whatever that means, declared a payment of £1,000 for giving a lecture at Bristol University in October 2022, 2 days after the 28-day deadline set by the Commons, because it's very hard when you're in and out of the Commons the whole time to put that piece of paper in, isn't it? Parliament Standards Commissioner said Miss Phillips had breached the MP's code of conduct in a relatively minor way. So has she breached them, yes or no? And if she breaches them and you're not punishing her, what's the point of having them? You know, give a mouse a biscuit, he'll ask for a glass of milk, you know? Anyway, it warned that repeatedly treating the register in a casual and inattentive fashion is a serious matter. But not that she cares. She does not care. She has contempt for everyone and everything. You know what? I'll tell you what, I've never noticed it before, but what's happened to her eyebrow? She only got half an eyebrow. Maybe it was, burnt off or whatever. A raucous party up in Brum. Anyway, the Birmingham Yardley MP was previously reprimanded for failing to register a number of outside earnings, which she insisted was an administrative oversight. So you're not capable of doing the one task you're supposed to do. And when anyone says an administrative oversight, it is basically either I forgot because I'm stupid, or I'm deliberately hiding something because I don't want people to see what I'm doing. Which is it then, Jess? Postman Pat, he will be very, very upset with you, you know. Anyway, these included a payment for a guest appearance on the TV show Have I Got News For You. The Commissioner said, although this is a relatively minor breach, I am referring it to the Committee on Standards because it occurred less than 6 months after rectification by Miss Phillips of a number of late registrations of financial interests. In other words, she's a repeat offender and she does it all very, very quickly, all at the same time, because she doesn't really care. She's got no regard for the rules. She says a casual attitude to the breach is unacceptable, and accordingly I consider it a right to refer this breach to the committee. Let's hope that the committee does look at it, and amongst others. The committee recommended no further action against the Labour politician, unfortunately. But it added, this case underlines the need for members to submit the complete registrations in good time. And let's see how long it'll be before she forgets that again. But she has got a record, and she is just a terrible bloody person. gobby. She comes up, she's hypocritical. She stands there and she makes accusatory. Every time you hear her speak, everything's accusatory. There's nothing soft about her. But that is one of the problems that the Labour Party has. It keeps pushing. And this is going to sound terribly sexist, and I don't mean it like that. I mean it genuinely as a lack of talent, not the sex of the person involved. But the Labour Party keeps pushing that it wants sort of full representation. Having a leader who's a female would be a start. The Tories have had 3. Labour yet to have 1. So they're the ones keep going, oh, we want our representation. Well, have a woman lead your party. The problem is, and this is where I get into dangerous territory, but ladies, please understand, I'm not saying it's because you're women, I'm saying it's because it's these women. The women in Labour, they aren't very bright. I'm not saying they're all dim, not at all. But you look at the prominent ones. You've got Angela Rayner, honestly, thick as 2 short planks, can barely read, can barely string 2 words together. You've got Jess Phillips, serial rule breaker, again, not very bright, but very gobby. And then you've got Diane Abbott. Don't have to say anything there, do I? I mean, she sits there and she, on a good day, she can count a potato. She really is as thick as they come. Then you've got other women in Labour that aren't stupid, but they're tainted. They're so tainted. Harriet Harman will never be leader, could never be leader because of the pie scandal. And if you don't know what that is, just type in Harriet Harman, Google it, Harriet Harman and pie. And if you don't know about that, it'll open your eyes. And then who else have you got there? There's a few. You've got Yvette Balls, who for some reason doesn't like calling herself Yvette Balls. I suppose because why Balls is an unfortunate combination of letters, isn't it? So she goes by her unmarried name of Cooper. But she was married to Ed Balls, so there were a pair of balls in Parliament, which is what it seems to be needed if you're going to be the leader of the Labour Party, apparently. See what I did there? Hey. Anyway, they haven't got any women that can stand as leader. They haven't got any bright women that are prominent. They've got clever women, but they're not prominent clever women. But the prominent women they have got are all as thick as a tip-top loaf. Anyway, I shall round off and I shall come up and we shall leave Jess Phillips to her conniving, malodorous ways. Any organisation has to have teeth or is no point of it existing. And so the Parliamentary Standards Committee has really got to start clamping down on these things and stop saying, oh, it was minor. No, regardless of how severe it is, a punishment must be given. And if it's only a minor breach, then you give a minor punishment. But there must always be a tit for tat. If you break the rule, you have to pay for that. Pay for that privilege of breaking it, as it were. Quid pro quo, as Hannibal Lecter would say. But I think even Hannibal would balk at the idea of eating Jess Phillips. But there we go, I'll leave it there. But it's just so typical of her because she is just arrogant. Gobby and arrogant. Anyway, not the only a gobby and arrogant person in Parliament. Let's be fair, there's lots of them. But I shall leave that. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see and hear on the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video. Definitely leave a like, that's what really helps. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, don't be like Jess Phillips, and goodbye.